Hi, and welcome to FrazlCast. Climb aboard the GNOME train.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
Please make sure to keep your limbs and experimental instruments inside the train at all times. And now, on with the show.
A podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. I promise you, they do talk about the World of Warcraft. They just go off the rails sometimes.
And this week, we are definitely going to go a little bit off the rails of WoW because the person I have this week does not play WoW, but they play Final Fantasy 14, and they're just an amazing, all-around, awesome person. We've got BiggusBennus. Hey, good to have you, my friend.
How are you doing? Thank you for having me.
I'm doing great. I've been so excited for this because, like, you're one of the ones that I was like, I'm always nervous to ask because, like,
No,
to me,
never be.
You're a celebrity. You've got the partnered status on Twitch.
That was a lucky fluke, you know, just a lucky few months, and I've been streaming for like 4 years now, so it's
wow.
I'm
okay.
used to just a very chilled chat. It's only been going a bit crazy, but yeah, I think all of the people listening now must instantly hate me that I don't play WoW. But as I said to you before, if I discovered, so I only started PC gaming in 2017 when I got a decent PC. If I had a PC that was capable of playing WoW when I was growing up, then I would have failed all my exams. I would probably have been kicked out. You know, I'm very, very lucky that I didn't discover WoW. And unfortunately, because I discovered WoW in like 2017, well, I played it for the first time in 2017 or something, and I'd already played a bit of Final Fantasy 14 on PS4. Yeah. And I was like, oh, the graphics didn't... Oh, I'm one of those awful people that just loves games with... If a game has got really, really bad graphics or old graphics, I just can't get into them.
I can understand it. Like, I'm not always a graphic snob, but it is harder sometimes to get into some of the older games because like that realism. Yeah,
and there's like an art style. I remember reading, somebody was telling me about like how it's weird that like Super Mario or like, you know, SNES games and stuff, those are kind of timeless. But when you look at like a PS1 game, 3D games, when you've gone into like the 3D era, vintage and old school games are a lot more difficult to like pick up and play than like a kind of like, you know, a Zelda Link to the Past or something like that.
Yeah, because like back then, some of the art style wasn't tried to like adapt to it, which is what the best that they could do. Whereas some of the more modern games keep a lower polygon, but they know how to really take every ounce of that.
Oh yeah, Celeste is one of my favorite games of all time. It's brilliant, and that's pretty much. It looked like it could have been released on the NES. Really, it's vintage.
And like Nintendo, I think really has cornered that market of, they know that their systems aren't going to be the graphics of Xbox and stuff like that. Yeah. But they've really done an amazing job at utilizing that.
Oh yeah, got The Witcher 3 on this as well. Apparently, tried it.
That's mind blowing. Like wow. We have a question from Infinity Tori. Says, "Is your name a reference to Monty Python?"
It is indeed. Yeah. So originally, this is my Xbox gamer tag. It still is. If anybody wants to add me, BiggusBennus on there. But I remember I just finished watching Monty Python: The Life of Brian. Then I went onto my Xbox and it's like, you need to create a username to go online. And I was like, well, school, they used to call me Big Ben because I'm just over 6'5". So it was pretty much Big Ben. Or my in my form room, my form group used to call me the BFG because they were really kind of the people I was like. The form group that I was in was kind of known for being really rough. Like they were always fighters or they were bullies. They were like awful people, but I wasn't. I was kind of like the nerd but I was always friendly. So they used to call me the BFG. They'd be like, protect me, even though I wasn't like them at all. And I didn't go and play football and I didn't have fights and bully and all that stuff. But they'd be like, oh, it's Ben. He's the BFG. So, I was always like Big Ben, and then I was like, well, okay, Big Ben, Biggest Dickus. I can't really call myself Biggest Dickus on Xbox, unfortunately. No, but it is from Biggest Dickus. The giant penis is just a coincidence.
You know, that would actually work for OnlyFans. That probably.
Yeah. That's oh god, you found it already. Yeah.
Oh, no, the secret's out now. Ben's income comes from OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's true.
And one thing that Tom brings up is you're probably a celebrity who doesn't have a crown yet, right? Because I know Tim the Tap Man finally got a crown.
I still haven't found a crown. And I'm not playing it because I just know I'll keep playing it, and it will get me so angry that I don't get a crown. And also, it's become a bit of a running joke. You know how Tim the Tap Man's had, like, he's not had a crown for, 3 or 4 days? Oh, he didn't until he got it. Like, he didn't have a crown for 3 or 4 days, and it was a bit of a running joke. I've played Battle Royale games since PUBG first came out, back at the beginning of 2017. And I've played hundreds and hundreds of solo games. I've never, ever, ever won a solo battle royale game. So I'm happy not to get a crown. You know, this is something I don't want to break the streak. You know, I enjoy this over 3.5 years of not getting a solo win. I've come close. I carried a friend in a PUBG duos. He died right at the beginning, and we won. So
nice.
I could count that as, you know, as a solo win.
Absolutely.
No, I choke really badly. I choke on my computer chokes. I've been kicked out 3 times. My computer just turned itself off a few days ago when I got to the tile round at the end.
Oh, that's always the worst because
I was about to win. And
okay.
you know the heavens are conspiring against me. I cannot win a solo battle royale game. So
yeah,
I think I was due to win, and they were like, turn that computer off.
Yeah, you're not going to get a win. You're not going to get a win.
Yeah, never.
But you know, one person in our community who has a crown is more of a beard. It's Epic Insanity. And one thing that I always love to do on this show is see what we've been up to. So Epic Insanity, what time is it?
It's time to go around the table.
Great idea. So what have we been up to?
I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing.
Are you now up to 1,000 hours? Because I remember you were getting close.
985, I believe.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Nearly party time, but I'll still have a drink now.
Absolutely, yeah. You have made me so want to get a Switch. It's like I don't have the budget for it right now. I mean, part of my budget went like shawls and dresses and stuff like that. So I'm blowing through my entire Switch budget that I have. But
get what you enjoy. Just buy what you enjoy. But yeah, no, Animal Crossing is... it sounds really over the top. It has changed my life because I was planning this September to do a master's in coding, in software programming and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was always the plan. I started last September. I did a course in Java because I could have got put onto this master's, but I needed to have like a course in coding. So I went and registered for that. I did the first 2. Then COVID hit. The 3 things coincided. So the lockdown started. I started 100 days of stream, which finished on my birthday. And also Animal Crossing came out on the first day of that 100 days of stream. So everything just kind of came together. And I went from an average of like 20 viewers to I'm on like 96 or 97 now. And it's just been, every time when I was playing it, I'm like, at the end of every stream, I'm like, what? Why? What? I don't understand it. Like how it just kept going up and up. And then because of that, I'm like, well, you know what? I love streaming. If I did a master's, I'd have had to give up streaming. And I was like, okay, I've done it for 3-4 years. It's not particularly, it's a hobby. So I might just keep doing it every now and again, 2 or 3 streams a day. But since this, I realized and I kind of admitted to myself that coding is incredibly stressful. It's really hard work, but it's so stressful. If you've got 700 lines of code, and that's just on like a small app or even just, something really small, you could have, 300 mistakes and you've got to go and search through them. And just one of them will make just one error appear. Yeah. So I was like, this is just super stressful. And thanks to what's happened with Twitch, I've been able to kind of stick with my day job, which is teaching English to people who visit or who are living in the UK. So like teaching English as a foreign language. I'm able to do that part-time and stream part-time as well. I mean, that's all you can really ask for in life is to do stuff you enjoy. And I really enjoy doing both.
One of my past guests, Carinza, she did ESL in Japan, and she's also a streamer. So I think ESL is amazing. I can barely speak English, I feel like, but it's
no, you can't. But one of the people who I've always looked up to is Toph. I don't know if you know him, TOPH.
Oh yeah, and
he's the same. He is a ESL teacher in Japan, and he's someone I've looked up to for years and years. He also plays a lot of Animal Crossing. Someone whose community I've always looked up to his because he's got a community that's so welcoming. If you go into his chat and say hello, you get 6 people saying hello. Even if you've never been in there or it's just someone completely new, you're immediately, the community is so nice and kind and welcoming to new people, especially that it was like a place that I've always kind of wanted to model my community on.
I love that. Like, I feel like you and like some people I know are part of this new wave of Twitch. Like longtime streamers and new streamers can all join this wave, but a wave that's all about inclusivity, positivity, welcoming, and like, it's one that I want to be part of too. Making it where Twitch can be a welcoming, safe place. Whenever I come into your streams, I feel welcome, and it's fun to be able to hang out there. And like, I may lurk even more than I chat there, but it's
always appreciated. No, I totally agree, and I totally appreciate that. Like lurks, whether people lurk or they chill or people just popping in saying, "Hey, I'm really busy today, but I wanted to pop in and say hi." It's so nice just to check in, and it's a wonderful medium is streaming, and I say it's all positivity, but I don't mind people. I get a lot of abuse, like from the streamers, but no, not like negative abuse. It's from my mods and from the people I know. Like we have a friendly abuse rivalry. But when anybody completely new comes in, like today, there was somebody that just popped in, and a really nice member of the community, Mandy. I just saw her. She was just like, "Hey, how are you?" Just welcoming people, anybody that comes in, and that's the kind of place I wanted to create.
Absolutely. People are able to feel connected to somebody in some way. I mean, like it's amazing the friends that are there. And Animal Crossing actually I've been finding is a great game for that. And like you do it so well. I love how you involve your community with different things, like the different costume contests and like that. It's so cool to see that engagement.
Yeah, now I've flattened my island, so I've got a lot of like rebuilding to do, but I can't wait to get back and do some more game shows and things. Now I've got like a smaller schedule, because before I was streaming for, like when Animal Crossing first came out, I was streaming for about 10, 11 hours sometimes. And now I've been like, okay, I need to cut it down a bit.
I've definitely been doing lots of streams, and the two biggest ones I want to talk about this week are I got a DM of a stream code for the Ambassador Fractured Timeline, and it's a twin stick shooter that is based out of like fantasy and all that. So like you have spells, and instead of like using AoE like a sword round, you throw weapons. So I had not seen something like this before, and definitely very difficult. I'm glad that they added a difficulty called assisted difficulty. That way when I died, the level will not reset, because I could not get past the first boss. Yeah, but
one of those.
I got pretty far in it, and if you love challenge, like if Cuphead's your jam, I really think you'll like this. And even if you play just to the assisted mode, it was a lot of fun. And I'm glad that games are adding assistance, so like people that for either accessibility, or if you're like me who's not good at games sometimes.
Oh, I can totally agree with that. I actually bought Cuphead on release, played it for about half an hour, and thought, "Fuck this! I'm getting the refund." And,
I'm like,
yeah.
I can't get past the first levels of Cuphead.
This is not for me. It's a great game, I'm sure, but it's not. It wasn't designed with me in mind.
I love the art style, though. That's one thing. Like I want to play it for the art style. And then in WoW, I've been doing mount runs, trying to get some of those old mounts that are not dropping in dungeons.
Didn't you get one? I saw.
Yes, I got the Death Charger's Reigns, and this one is really cool. Back in vanilla, this dungeon still dropped this mount. And I would go in with a group from our raid who we were going into Stratholme to try to gear up, and I would go in there, and our raid leader would always talk about the mount that drops off of this boss. So I would always remember this. It feels like I've closed a chapter on my vanilla gaming in WoW, but it feels so good. It's like I've wanted this mount for so long, and it's now in my inventory. So that felt really good.
Got it. Nice.
Yeah.
You said earlier about like somebody DM'd you a code for a game. That's one thing that I would 100% recommend people, even no matter how small you think you are as a streamer, put an email address, a business email address in your profile. Before I got partnered, I was getting people messaging asking like for sponsorship opportunities, or just giving me a code, or hey, do you want to work with us on this? And I always get them through that email address. Make it kind of clear maybe what console you've got, or in your profile. But yeah, get a business email address in there, and you'll be surprised.
Yeah, and I learned a tip from Iron Brandon that once you play the game on your stream, send them a link to the VOD and like thank them for that. That way you can show I did actually use this code that you sent me.
That's 100% true. Also, that's what Justin Nick also recommended. Yeah, like he makes like an image of like what the average viewers were, what you thought of it, and like a thank you little message image, which was a really, really good idea.
That is a smart idea.
Yeah, highly recommend it.
I even told this person that a few people in my chat wanted to buy the game, and one person even bought it, so they were glad to hear that it led to a sale or two. So
are you on Keymailer?
I am. That's how I got Satisfactory, and I've had so much. I've had such a huge Satisfactory job with that, and I've played the game so many times on stream. Yeah. I need to go back in there and get more. I just want to make sure that when I request a key, that I'm actually going to play the game. I don't want to take a key that I'm not going to use. Yeah, no, I'm bad for that. I've only just recently found it because somebody was talking about like how you get keys, because it was a game that I wasn't really interested in, but I was like, oh, I wonder if I get a key, I might play it. And I went and looked on a website, and they suggested Keymailer, and I looked on there. I was like, wow, some really decent games on there. Oh yeah, and I need to go back in and do more of it with that. So
Yeah.
one thing about, that I'm curious about with you is, what is your gaming history? Like, how did you get into gaming? Because we've talked about the different games you've played, and we even glossed over the fact that you played Microsoft Flight Simulator this week and all that.
Yeah.
But like, what started BiggusBennus on their gaming journey?
I would say, like, I've always loved video games, but it's always been something that my parents hate. Like, even today, I was telling my dad that I went over the house on Flight Simulator, and I was like, oh, it's amazing. You could actually see the house, you can see the garden, and it's all like 3D realized. And he just replied with an emoji of somebody vomiting. So I was like, okay, yes, he has absolutely, he doesn't dislike video games, he hates it. So he hates video games. We never had any video games kind of growing up until I think it was 1997 or 98. I was about 3. No, I was 10 in 97. I think it was 98 at Christmas. And my parents got me and my brother, who was 5 or 6 at the time, got us, it was about 6, got us a PlayStation 1.
Nice.
I mentioned this before, but I was so excited when I found it that I threw up. I was so over the moon, like stunned. And they also got me one of the steering wheels as well, because we got V-Rally, even though I was just terrible using I'm still terrible.
Yeah.
I've got a steering wheel that I don't know how anybody can play a game with a steering wheel, because just terrible.
I've always seen those steering wheel setups that people have. Like I saw, I think Linus Tech Tips went like all out because they had a budget for one of those, and like just like thinking like, that is kind of nice. I would be shit at playing the game, but it would be pretty fun.
It's nice. I've got one. Oh god, it was stupidly. I don't know why I bought it, but it was something like £230 or €230, about $250. Like a really nice one, and I like coupled it up. I set it up, and I was like, oh, I might even stream this. I'm going to attach it to the desk, and the rumble in it is so strong. It nearly like sent half my monitors across the floor. It was just. Yeah, but like I literally tried to. I played Formula One. It was F1 2019. I think I played with it. And I was like, okay, I'll turn all the assists off because, I've got a steering wheel, and it released me from the pit. And then the car somehow just did 90 degrees into the side and just went into the wall. And I was like, well, I can't play this. But yeah, steering wheels are very, very difficult because they want you to turn like 3 or 4 times to go and like really lock in. And I just didn't have the effort to do that. I was like, I'm okay with the joystick.
Yeah, me too. And I don't typically play too many racing games because one wrong move and I'm totally out of it.
Oh, I love a racing game. Mario Kart's my jam, but no, I love a bit of Formula. I like watching Formula One, so quite often I'll play it.
Did you ever play Little Big Planet Kart?
I did. Was that the one where you could create your own tracks?
Yeah,
because I love that, and I remember making really, really steep tracks and stuff, and that was a really, really good. I wish they'd bring that back. That was really good.
It was so underrated. Like it didn't sell enough, but it had that charm of Little Big Planet. Like. I still love that game.
That's what I want. If they're going to release another Super Mario Maker, I want them to have a Super Mario Kart Maker where you get to make your own tracks and stuff. That would be amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I could see them doing that because that would be incredible.
Because you're just placing a few things. Yeah. I'm sure there are ways that they could do that.
Ooh.
It would be a lot of fun.
What if they did Animal Kart racing?
Yeah. Animal Crossing Kart. Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down for that. But yeah, no, my parents never liked video games. So it was always like something kind of forbidden. That's why like now I don't drink too much, but like I drink caffeine and Coca-Cola and fizzy drinks and stuff like that because my parents had it banned until I left the house. I could never drink caffeine. So it's like the rebellious part of me that always was into it. But yeah, a lot of people when they talk about SNES and NES being their first consoles, I'm like, well, no, I had a PlayStation 1. Yeah, my mother, who was a head teacher, took the PlayStation into work with her and got the head of IT to chip it for me so I could play copied games. So she was there were some useful things that she did, but my dad hates video games. He's finally kind of understood Twitch. It took him about 3.5 years of me streaming to kind of understand Twitch, but he's getting there.
I'd say my parents aren't against the streaming, and they're against other things, but they're not against streaming and all that. But they don't understand it. They're like they know I spend a lot of time streaming, but they don't know what I'm doing. Yeah.
No, a lot of people don't, and then you explain, like, I've had friends who are like, oh, what's Twitch? And I'm like, I explain it to them, they're like, why would anybody watch you do that? And I was like, well, why don't you watch and find out rather than just kind of be really rude about what is pretty much my job right now?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like if somebody said they were a musician And you were like, well, why would anybody listen to you play music? It's like,
I know, because it's the meaning, your hobby, and now from what you're saying, your career.
yeah. It's a part-time, it's a hobby career, which I like, which is great. Always do some, if you're lucky enough to have the opportunity to do something that you love and also make an income of it, then do that. But luckily I'm able to do that, but I know a lot of people aren't that lucky.
So 4 years ago, how did you get started into streaming?
I've always been into that. Back in the days, I had Winamp.
Winamp. It really whips the llama's ass.
I used to broadcast an internet radio station to my friends. It was like 10 or 15 people would maybe tune in, which is thinking about it is quite a lot more. But I would send them the link on MSN Messenger and be like, "Oh, listen, and I'll just play some good music and stuff."
Oh, that's cool.
I really, really enjoyed that. But I've always kind of liked that broadcasty type stuff. There was a thing. There was like this. Oh, I don't know what it was, but it was near where I used to live, called Eureka, and it was like a technology museum. And my favorite bit was the TV studio. And it wasn't necessarily about being like being in front of camera, but I just love like messing around with the camera. And I was obsessed with broadcasting. Also, being a big fan of video games, it just felt like the perfect match. But yeah, I always wanted to. I was always interested in it, but I never had a decent enough internet. And I moved into a house or an apartment in Sabadell, which is just outside Barcelona. And we had internet that was 300 megabytes down and 300 megabytes up. My mother had retired, and when she'd retired, she'd been given some money as like a retirement goodbye, and she decided to give me some. And I was like, well, I'm spending that on a game, on my first ever gaming PC at the age of 27 or 28 or whatever it was. It just felt like a perfect match. So I had that in my head. And so for a few months, I watched Twitch, which I got to say something. If anybody wants to start streaming, watch Twitch. Be a viewer. Don't just go into it. And even when you are streaming, it really, 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 really helps to watch streams just to get new ideas or to see how other people react. And I don't know, when I watch other streams, it gives me more fire to stream myself as well. So it gives me loads, because if all you do is just stream and you never watch others, you're gonna get burnout.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the reason as well I wanted to stream was the fact that I was living in Spain for 8 years, and I was living in Barcelona. And the problem with Barcelona is it's a big city that people pretty much either go there for a weekend, they go there for a week, or if they're studying, they'll go there for 6 to 12 months, maybe, if you're lucky. So the fact I was living there, making friends, and then they just disappeared. And it was like, oh, okay. It was a bit tiring. And I wanted to make some friends that I could kind of be with wherever they are, wherever I was. And that's exactly what happened. In fact, I ended up making really good friends with people in Norway. And 3 times in about a year and a half, I went and visited them in Norway, and I saw them more than I would a friend that I've just met, for a month or so in Barcelona, and then they've disappeared. That
is one thing that I've been impressed with, is being a streamer, how many friends you make.
Yeah.
Like other streamers or other or people that view, but like I've told people, my secret to quarantine has been the streaming, because I don't feel lonely.
Yes, me neither. Like, yeah, Dave, my partner, was just saying like, oh, do you feel like, oh, I can't wait to socialize and stuff? And I'm like, well, that's what I've been doing every day. I've been able to chat to so many people throughout the day. I'm getting my complete fill of socializing. And you get to meet so many people from so many different cultures, so many different lifestyles. I feel like my perspective on the world has changed, getting to know people's lives. 100%, yeah, definitely. I mean, moving abroad definitely was really, really good for that. And living in a different country really opened my eyes. But also, being on Twitch and getting to know people, and especially like with Animal Crossing, I've learned that, because when you're streaming Animal Crossing, it's rare, very, very rare that you get trolls. Touch wood. Like, trolls are very, very non-existent, but you do get quite a lot of younger people, and some of them might be immature. And it's kind of taught me how to deal with immature people. Whereas, they're not trying to be rude, or they're not trying to be nasty. They're just being immature. I mean, obviously the queen of immaturity, Moni, I discovered during quarantine. She was, I thought she was a troll. I still think she's trolling. But she's a very committed troll. She's watched for many times. We just recently modded her. But she's making so many really, really close friendships is definitely something that's happened through streaming. I think Monica's how I found you. So I think Monica, the fact that she was trolling you, because I found you because she raided you.
And I've enjoyed your streams. Like, I wish I had more time to always watch the streams, but I always love when I catch those.
I was watching, I remember, because I followed you, raided you, and then I followed you. And then a few days later, you were doing the FrazlCast.
Yes.
And I tuned in. I'm going to lose even more friends now. I had no idea what you were talking about with WoW, but you were so passionate about it. And the guy that you were interviewing was also really passionate that I was like, oh, it was just kind of encapsulating listening to it. And, I couldn't stop listening. I was lurking because I had absolutely nothing to contribute to it, but I was really enjoying just listening.
So if Blizzard's listening, my paycheck should hopefully come in soon for it.
I just bought a 5-year subscription to World of Warcraft now, so they definitely deserve, a nice check in the mail.
You started streaming, but what was that light bulb moment when you realized you had a passion for it?
Pretty much the first stream. Like I did it, and because I'd hung out in some friends' stream. That's another thing. Like I'd hung out in those streams. I never ever once said that I was going to stream. I think somebody might have asked me, like, you ever thought about streaming? And I was like, well, yeah, I'm actually thinking of it. I'm getting a PC in the next couple of months. And then like 1 or 2 people had just hit the follow to be there, when I started and to see it. So when I started my stream, the first time I got one person, it popped in maybe after about 20 minutes and I'd chat to them for a little bit. I can easily remember, I mean, it was only 3 years ago, pretty much just over 3 years, where I would be in chat and it would go an hour with nothing, and then somebody would come in and I would talk to them for half an hour and then they would leave again. But like that half an hour of interaction was just amazing. It felt great because I was like, wait a minute, they're watching me play a video game. That's amazing. When you're a kid and you're, you make your brother or sister watch you play a video game, they get bored after a minute. So it's great that people are here chatting to me as well. People who have got the same interests as well. And also I find that living in Barcelona, obviously I understood Spanish. I spoke it, but not as fluently as, not as fluently as many other people, but I was able to communicate with them. But finding somebody that will communicate with you and doesn't mind that there's a limited communication and also has the same interest as you is very, very difficult. Whereas Twitch, you've got the whole world there. So you've got people that, identify they love video games. They might be LGBT plus, and also they speak and understand English. It's hard to find that in a city. But when you expand it to the world on Twitch, it's great that you're able to, you can find people that are really, really well suited to you.
And it's interesting that you bring up the LGBT plus, because since joining it and like since first as an ally, but now being part of it,
Congratulations. Yeah. Well, welcome to the family.
It is so great. And I love the colors. I love all the colors, but like the community's been like so welcoming and so many great people there. And I'd say it's helped coming out so much easier to have people there encouraging you.
Yeah, you need support. Like when I came out as a child, I didn't have any support. The only support I had was watching TV programs that included it. Queer as Folk. Don't know if anybody remembers that. I never watched the American version. I watched the British version, but that was kind of what was there. And I was like, oh, because I watched it thinking like, oh, I wish I had the confidence to be like this. And watching it did give me the confidence to come out.
There is definitely like something like when I come on the stream and there's somebody there who just says like great outfit or something like that. When I'm like getting comfortable in who I am, it is so helpful. And I'm glad Twitch has that LGBT plus tag, because that helps so much. Because one, it shows that you're a safe place, but also I've heard people search for that. It
shows that it's a place where you can be who you are and you can discuss whatever you want.
Yeah,
if you've got issues like we've got in the Discord, there's an LGBT channel. People discuss things that are pretty personal to them, but they feel comfortable enough to share it. And everybody obviously will always support and pass on love to them. And it's really, hopefully it's helped people.
What would you say has been one of your favorite memories in your streaming career so far?
Probably my birthday this year. I had the best birthday, I think, in my life this year. This was day 100 of my 100 days of stream.
Nice.
And I got partnered on day, I think it was like 83 or 81 or something like that. I need to check. But at the end of the 100 days, some like a load of friends and viewers and people that I got to know over the many years of streaming left messages and videos on a kudo board for me for my birthday, and also like as a congratulations for partnership. And it blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. Even just thinking about it now, it was just such a wonderful, wonderful experience. It was a very emotional stream.
I must have missed that one, but it's cool that you were able to celebrate your birthday and all that.
Yeah, honestly, it was the best birthday I've had in, since I was like a kid. It was one, because I've always had it where, meet a few friends and we'll go for some drinks and that was it. I've had birthdays before with nothing, it was just me kind of chilling because some friends were busy, or we'd go for Dave and I would just go for a little meal or something. But, that was like a proper party. And it's so weird that during quarantine, that's when I had the most social birthday I think I've ever had. I went to karaoke. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, actually, no, that karaoke, that made it terrible. Okay, I think that disqualifies it from being a good stream.
No, karaoke is great. I love karaoke and Twitch Sings. Have you done Twitch Sings yet?
Oh yeah, that was what we did on day 100. Every now and again, if I've had if I'm with Dave, because the Dave is a good singer, and we've had a bit of wine / a lot of wine, we're like, hey, let's load up Twitch Sings. Then the next day, I'm like, oh crap, I need to get on the computer and delete that VOD.
I remember like my birthday this year, like nobody, online everybody knew about it, but like in the real world, like I don't think my family really said anything, but it was nice being able to come to the stream and have everybody be able to share it and with it.
Yeah.
And even
I know some people are some people might be a bit more like they don't want to kind of announce that it's their birthday. So now on the Discord, which I really recommend, is getting a birthday bot. And now when somebody, unfortunately, it's a bit of a pain to set it up, but if you go into the Discord, there's like a birthday setup bot, and now it'll give you like a special role and announce it when it's your birthday. So you have no say about it. It automatically does it. And that's helped. And it's also, another reason to celebrate and to have, a reason to party.
Here's a question that isn't on the list, but you've made me think about it. I've been thinking of like I don't like the word, like for me, viewers and chatters, because I've called them friends, but even more recently now that because my family doesn't really know who I am or doesn't know my identity, but like my friends do. Instead of calling them friends, I've been calling them family.
Yeah.
How does your community feel to you?
Disciple? No, they're all friends. Yeah, everybody. Like they're people that I speak to way, way more than people that I would call IRL friends. I speak to them sometimes some of them more than Dave. Like
wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I speak to them for 7 hours and then Dave for a couple of hours before he goes to bed. So it's definitely. And like anybody that says, you can't make friends online, they're not real IRL friends. Of course, it would be amazing. And I'm sure it will be amazing when I get to meet a bunch of them in person, when it's either TwitchCon or just like going and when we're all able to go on holiday again and I can visit cities and someone will be like, hey, I live here. Let's have a drink and stuff. That will be great. But that would be great because they are already a friend. Yeah.
Yeah. You've got that history. When I went to BlizzCon last year, I met some people that are friends and family, and just being like, wow, you've had an impact on my life, and you're actually real. You're not just a name on the other side of the world.
That's exactly what happened when I went to Norway. So one of the biggest things that ever happened to me in streaming was going to go right from the very beginning. But there's a band called Donkey Boy, and they're a big band in Norway, like a really, really big band. And a person that won the X Factor in the UK, returned a year later and sang this song, and I was like, oh, this is quite a good song. I wonder what it's like when it's sung by somebody who can actually sing. And then I I typed the song into Google, and I found it was originally by this band called Donkey Boy, and I would listen to it, and I was like, wow, this song's amazing. Listen to all their back catalog, and I was like, wow, all these songs are great. This is my type of music. It's kind of Europop, but really dance, really, really good stuff. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to follow them, and I followed them on Facebook, because that was what you did back in the day. Not anymore, I don't think. And I remember one day they posted, because I remember looking and thinking, oh, I haven't heard from them for a few years. Do they still release music and stuff? And I looked on Facebook and they'd posted like a week before saying, hey, we're going to start streaming on Twitch as the Norwegian Thunder Boys. And I was like, well, I know, Twitch. I'm on Twitch. I stream on Twitch. I'd only been streaming for a few months. I was like, okay, I'll give them a follow. And then one day I was just about to go live. Literally I was sitting at my computer ready to go live, and it popped up that they were doing their first ever stream, and I was like, oh, okay, you know what, I'm not going to stream today. I'm not going to stream. I'm going to go and hang out and chat to them, because it's a really cool opportunity to speak to them. And because it was pretty much their first ever stream, there were maybe maximum of 10 or 12 people in the chat for the whole stream, and so I got talking to them, got to know them really well. I actually play. In fact, they uploaded the entire stream onto YouTube, and it was like one of their first ever streams. And for like half of the stream, it's me playing PUBG, or PlayerUnknown's Battleground, with them. And they kept inviting me back and various other things. And as they grew, Now they're taking a very long break, although I think they're back in the next couple of days. They were streaming for 2 or 3 years with hundreds and hundreds of viewers as they got bigger and bigger. But as they grew, I got to know a lot of people in their community, and they would come over and chat to me in my chat. Then they were like, hey, why don't you come over and visit us? And I'm like, okay. And normally I would be completely, no, this is scary. This is terrifying. But they were like, oh, come over, you can stay with us and we can stream together as like a group. Because they do like a 4-person stream with like a really fancy house with all these, 4 computers and cameras, and they've got a proper streaming room. It's beautiful. And then, so I went there, slept on their sofa it's a really nice, big, comfortable sofa in the recording studio where they record music, and ended up like streaming with them that weekend. And it was just kind of a dream. It felt like it was only there for 48 hours because I was living in Barcelona, so I could literally went on a Friday night and came back on a Sunday night. So I was there for pretty much just 48 hours. Yeah, that was just unbelievable. But I ended up doing that a couple of times because I got to know some really good friends. And then once they had a thing called the Thunder Awards, because their name is Norwegian Thunder Boys. So they had the Thunder Awards, which is like an awards ceremony, but it was more like a reason for a gathering for everybody to go and, to meet and to hang out. They messaged me, one of them, the kind of one that's in charge of the stream, messaged me to say, hey, it'd be really cool if you could visit, or if you could come and join us. And I was like, before I was thinking, well, I'm probably going to be working, it's going to be difficult. But because they like reached out to me and said, hey, come and join, I like made a real effort, went there, and there were just so many people that I knew. And it was, that was probably one of my best experiences, thanks to Twitch.
And I love that because like you didn't set out to get any like fame and all that.
Oh, in fact, actually, so the first stream they invited me to be their fourth person in PUBG, and I was so close to saying no because I was too nervous. Like, to me at the beginning, I was like, what, people go into Discord with people that they've not spoken to before? That's absolutely terrifying. Like, why would anybody do that? So I went and, I was like, I was so close to saying no. But I was like, you know what? You only live once. I've got the opportunity to play a video game with people whose music I loved and kind of known for years. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, yes. And I did it. And that was the best choice. In fact, I was speaking to him about 30 minutes ago because they're doing a stream, like a comeback stream with Destiny, playing some Destiny 2. And I was like, hey, I saw you playing. So literally about 30 minutes ago, I'd messaged them. And since then, it's just been, I stayed over at their house. I got to know their family, and just like, Twitch is a wonderful, wonderful place. There's some amazing people on there. Obviously, Twitch is amazing, but the people on there are the ones that are amazing. But you got to find the right ones. Find the nice people.
Absolutely. You're part of a team. We mentioned the LGBTQIA earlier and all that, and you are part of a stream team called Rainbow Arcade, which I'm hoping to join one day. I've applied, and this is not me like saying anything to you because I know you're on the team, but I'm just more saying that I love the values of the team.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Can you describe Rainbow Arcade to people who aren't familiar with this team?
It's a family. It really is the definition of a family. It's quite small. I think at the moment we have 50. I think we're expanding to between 75 and 80 soon. Although I think applications are going to be open like every quarter. So if people don't get in, you can apply another quarter. It's a group of LGBTQIA, and then I think it's like 2+ because it's Two-Spirited as well. That's been added to the tag. Though it's those people that identifies that. So it's not one that's allies, it's, that these people are members of the community and they'll have your back. They know your struggles. Maybe not all of your struggles, because obviously within the LGBT tag, there's many people who identify as different things and various other areas of, discrimination and stuff that they've experienced. But the team is just a collection of wonderful, wonderful people that everybody gets vetted. So I think I managed to avoid that because I was right at the very beginning when it started. I actually looked on the Discord because there was like a welcome thing, and I was like the third person to join the Discord. But like just a really lovely group of people that work together. So we do charity streams as a team. We do various other things. We celebrate. I think this month is Disability Pride, but next month, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to check what it is. But highlighting people who deserve to be highlighted, and communities and marginalized communities as well, that we give a voice to those people. Yeah, just work together. Before, I've always said I hate stream teams. Like, I've no interest in them. Nearly every stream team that I've seen in the past, I'm not shitting on anyone that ever chooses it, but so many stream teams are there to kind of benefit those at the top, to get them followers, and to, like, you must always raid this person must be raided. Rainbow Arcade is absolutely nothing like that whatsoever. It exists to support each other and to support the LGBTQIA2+ community, and to provide voices for those who in normal media wouldn't have voices, and to provide a safe space for people who are in that community, think they're in the community, or, you know, if you want to, you know, join a community where you know you're safe to be who you are and it's welcoming to all, click on the Rainbow Arcade tag and search for any of the streamers in there.
I've definitely been checking out different streams from there, and yeah, you've got an amazing group of people already, and like, I love the focus on being a positive force in Twitch, and trying to be there for people who need a platform.
Yeah, it definitely is a positive. I'm really, really proud to have been asked to be in the team back when it started, and John, Justin, Nick, so many people, Cypher of Tyr, Urban Bohemian. There's so many people that either knew before or I got to know because of the team. Like Cypher of Tyr, Urban Bohemian, two people, absolutely love them. And I only discovered them because of Rainbow Arcade. When somebody joins Rainbow Arcade, I know I'm going to follow that person because every single person that has joined so far has been wonderful. So I'm following them because at the moment there are new people joining. Just recently, I think Delphron joined, Mike Cheb. There's a few people that have joined. I mean, their name, they've been accepted onto the team, so it's not, I don't think there's been like an official announcement, but they've announced joining it themselves. But it's slow at the moment, so it's not lots of people. Not everybody that has been accepted has been told right away. I think it's going to be over the next 6 weeks or so. But yeah, it's everybody that does join. I'm like, I either already follow them, or it's like, well, if they've been accepted on this team, then they must be a good person. So I followed them. How did you originally find the team? I was blessed that I was asked. So I know Justin, Nick, and I know John, and it's Dakota as well. They're the three founders. And yeah, somebody in my stream had recommended that Justin raided me a couple of years ago. No, not even a couple of years ago. It was it must have been about just 1 year ago, maybe. I was playing Spider-Man on PS4, and I remember getting this huge raid, and there were so many people that just like stuck around and followed, and I was like, what a wonderful team. And then Justin and I bonded over a game, it's absolute classic game called Anthem. I don't know if you ever heard of Anthem.
I've never played it, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's shite. So we played it together like one day off stream, and we were all, really positive and pleasant about it, and we're like, oh, this is good. And then I remember the next day being like, that game's pretty crap, isn't it? And he's like, yeah, that was a really bad game. I was like, okay, well, we'll find another game to play. But I've heard that they might actually kind of rebirth Anthem, and if they do, Justin and I are gonna have to play it and see what it's like. Old memories, but it's down to Anthem that I got to know Justin, and then through him I got to know John, who is just probably one of my favorite streamers ever. There's so much positivity, so welcoming, so kind, so lewd. It just matches me perfectly, and so I got to know him. And then they said, hey, we're starting a stream team, because Justin I think he just got partner around about then. So they started a stream team and told me kind of the values of it. And I was like, well, I've resisted joining a stream team for 2.5 years or so, 3 years. But that's exactly, you're saying to me exactly what I would want from a stream team. Like, it's ticking every single box, and I would be honored to be on it. Yeah, I am absolutely, honored to be a part of them.
I had heard about it on your interview on Geek Caring, which is what was phenomenal, by the way. And I
don't remember. I had way more wine than I did tonight. I'm still on my first. Oh no, I think this is. I can't. Yeah, no, this is the 1.5 glasses.
So I haven't made you drink that much yet. So
no, sorry, I'm talking so much, like I don't have time to drink.
Which is great. You are the focus of the show, and I want people to know. I want people to know how awesome you are.
Says the person in that hat. I'm sorry that. The real star of the podcast is that hat. It's amazing.
I have loved being able to wear what I want to wear and feeling pretty and all that. It's
and you do.
Oh, yeah, I'm blushing. Hearing about Rainbow Arcade, there's a reason why I don't know if I'll get in this round, but I'm definitely gonna be applying every round. When I heard about you on Geek Caring, I was just like, the team speaks for the values that I want, and the values of like the people on there, and the fact that you are on there, I'm not brown nosing. I'm serious. But the fact that,
Brown
you were
that's
on
fine.
there.
Don't worry. I'm not used to it, so it's nice to have a change. You know, normally people in my chat are just rude. So
Okay, sounds good. So I'll be one of the ones that won't comment on the forehead or anything like that.
yeah. Oh, brilliant. Now he has.
There's a joke on Ben's stream about his forehead. So
I know. Extra shiny today on this tree.
It is. Yeah, it's
I think
nice.
if I sit back, it goes. Yeah. No, it's still bad actually. Yeah.
Well, one final hobby that you do or hobby or outlet that you do that I don't want to end the show without talking about is Click Click Play.
I would probably use it in the past now because I'm not sure what's going to happen with it. But it was a podcast I did for 2 years with Jordan, Immortan Jord, who is another streamer. He's like an encyclopedia when it comes to video games. And we did it with various co-hosts at the start. It was with a guy called Manny GPT, who was one of the first people I ever watched because he was playing Star Citizen. I was like, well, Star Citizen, that's an interesting game. I want to go and watch and see what it's all about. And then eventually he was replaced by his brother, who was also really into video games, but had a bit more free time than Manny. And yeah, we just pretty much spent every single Sunday for 2 years or so just chatting about video games. Right now, I'm not sure what's gonna happen with it. It is very kind of in limbo. There are other projects, like podcasting projects that I'm involved in that haven't been announced yet, so I can't really say anything.
Oh,
it's,
tease!
Yeah, I know. So I think that might take over from it. I mean, I would probably think of Click Click Play as being like an occasional, like follow it on the things, and if it appears in your feed, it means there's a special one that's appeared. But yeah, I think it's just going to be kind of special events, like maybe when E3 returns, or a Game of the Year special, or something special. I think maybe every now and again we'll do one.
I was listening to your special from March on like stream tips, and like. It is great to hear that, like, even that it's great to hear other streamers encouraging people like to turn off view counts and stuff like that. And you brought up some really amazing points that I've been mulling over for my own stream. So I appreciated your honesty on
Turning
that.
off view count definitely helped for me. Although when I started doing Animal Crossing, because like the view count was going up every day, I actually kept it on. Because it did the opposite for me. It gave me a lot of kind of encouragement, and I was like, "Oh my god, look how many!" So it kind of lit a fire in me a bit more. But 99% of the time, it doesn't. So turn it off.
Yeah,
I was just very lucky.
I only see mine when I'm raiding, and like some days you see like the low view count when you raid, like okay, but then some days you're like, holy fucking shit! I did not even realize I had that many people watching this at that moment. Like what?
Yeah. No, I've had that before, especially if a couple of people have raided you before. Then it really can be quite high, and it shocks you. In fact, one of the earliest things that I ever remember was being raided by. I was playing a game called Elite Dangerous, and somebody raided me with 40 viewers, and I just remember being absolutely stunned. It wasn't a raid because raids didn't exist then. It was a host, so somebody hosted me with like 41 or 42 viewers, and I remember being just. Panic. I was absolutely panicking. I got to know some friends. In fact, there's some people. I believe, I don't know if you know him, Stan PC Gaming.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I believe, I might be completely wrong, but I do believe he came from that host about 3 years ago, and I still speak to him nowadays.
I've definitely had to like work on like my raid persona. Like when someone raids, you're like, stay professional. Hey, thank you for the raid. What were you playing? And
yeah. That's one of the things I really love about being partner now and like having a higher view count is being able to kind of reciprocate with that. So being able to raid people who are kind of just starting out and they're kind of new, and it's like, hey, just to throw loads of people to experience them and see what and seeing their reaction. Well, it's usually a lot more appreciated. Or I don't do it to be appreciated. I do it because I want to give, because I remember it when I was starting out, when if somebody raided with like 40 viewers or even 20, 30 viewers, it was something that was really like something that I still remember now. When you're growing as a streamer, especially if it's somebody that I know that people will really like, and there'll be people that stick around, it's just a great experience, and it helps that community kind of stick together.
Yeah, I echo Tom that I love your approach with that. I raid because I'm not looking to be like, look at me. I want people to follow them. And it's always fun when I raid somebody to then see people that I know from chat following them, and I'm like, yes. And we are passing on the love.
Yeah, the community. It's all about the community, about getting a closer community. You know this person's stream. Do you not know this person's stream? Because I know them and they're awesome. So you go and check them out as well. You'll realize how awesome they are, and you get to know them more and more.
What would you say has been something that, even if Click plays right now on a hiatus or ending, whichever way it is right now, what would you say has been one of the best learnings that you've found from the podcast?
I think it helped me be able to explain myself more, because every week for about 2 hours I was talking about video games. So before I would be like, oh, how do I explain a video game, or why I like it, or how can I... Yeah, it just helped me speak more and be able to express my thoughts better. Because when I first started streaming, I never had like a speech impediment, but when you're in your brain and you're not quite sure how to say, you've got all these thoughts, but you're not sure what to say or how to say it, it's just practice. And streaming's done that as well. It's helped me kind of be able to speak confidently and put sentences together, even though I do sometimes start them and forget how to finish them. But I think that gets just worse with old age.
Yeah. And I echo what you say, like both the podcast and streams have helped me with it. It has been one of the best things. I still like stutter, but I'm working through it, but it has given me more and more confidence. And part of that's just been my confidence in who I am and being me.
Yeah, it gives you definitely a lot more confidence.
And when you hear that somebody listened to one of your podcasts, you're like, whoa, you actually took time to listen to what I put out.
Yeah, with Click Play, I'd forget to put it, or I would like just take a little bit of time to upload it. And people would be like, hey, I went to the gym and I didn't have the podcast to listen to. What, did you record one? I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, I know I was being a bit busy, but I didn't realize you listened to it. And yeah, you're surprised how, even if it's just one person that listens to the podcast, then it's worth it.
Yeah. And getting that feedback, sometimes like when I'm editing for a weekend, I feel like, and I'm like, you get one person says, hey, I love your podcast. You're like, okay, I've got the fire now to go on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love podcasts as well. I love podcasts. I love audiobooks. When I lived in Barcelona, I used to travel. So I lived in Sabadell with my super fast internet, and then moved back to Barcelona with even faster internet. I had like 500 meg up and down. It was amazing. Oh, I wish I had it here. God, the internet issues, like Virgin Media. Awful thing. But yeah, so when I lived in Barcelona, I used to travel to work, and it would take me an hour and 15 to get to work. But a lot of it was on a train or on the underground. So I didn't want to like get out a book or necessarily have my phone out and stuff. So I would just listen to podcasts and audiobooks the entire time. And yeah, like streaming, be a fan of it before you do it yourself. People who stream who aren't fans of watching streams, you're not going to improve. No, same with like podcasts as well. I think you have to listen to loads of podcasts to kind of get the idea of what you want. And you can copy loads of things. That's absolutely.
Finding inspiration from stuff is some of the best way. I mean, because I find inspiration from different things. Like, I never thought about doing that. That's a smart way to do it.
Yeah. That's what I do. Yeah. Same with Animal Crossing. I watch loads of Animal Crossing streamers, and I'm like, well, that's a cool idea. I might change it slightly. Like, for example, Mike Chebb. Mike Chebb does drawings of villagers, but he uses the iPad. And I was like, well, it'd be kind of cool if I did a drawing of a villager that people could redeem, and I would do it on their notice board so they get to keep it. And also, I even bought myself here a stylus for my Switch so that I could use it. In fact, it came with brain training, and I haven't touched brain training. I've just used it for the stylus.
Not to encourage you, but if you ever were to get an iPad with the Apple Pencil, that thing is amazing.
That's what Mike does. So I'm like, I like to get inspiration, but a direct copy, I wouldn't want to do it. Yeah.
Make your own. Absolutely. Yeah. Breathe your own.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I like to do. Yeah. Be influenced, but original if you can be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, before we end, I like asking every creator this. How do you get past that voice in your head to do the things that you do?
Sometimes I force myself to stream, especially in the 100 days. I'm like, oh, I could really do without, I could just chill today, or I'm not feeling very good. And I know there's a lot of people that would give the advice to say, like, if you don't feel like streaming, don't do it. But the amount of times where I've not felt like streaming and I've done it, and then at the end of it felt so good and been put in such a good mood is way more than what it is of me saying, no, I'm not going to stream because I'm not feeling good. So maybe I'm just unique. Maybe some people, maybe other people, they're in a bad mood and they stream and then they end up feeling worse. But I've had quite a few of those experiences. So having that in my mind and being like, you know what, I don't feel too well. I'm a bit tired. You know what? I'll do a stream as long as there's nothing that could be a lot better. Like for example, the other day, I was not really in the mood. I was about to click on start streaming, and then Dave was like, oh, it's a really nice day. Why don't we just sit in the garden and have a bit of wine and just chill and chat? And I was like, you know what? That sounds amazing. I'm going to do that. So if you're doing something you love, then sometimes if you're in a bad mood, it will put you in a good mood. And I'm lucky that happens, but it doesn't happen to everybody. And I think that's pretty bad advice for lots of people, forcing yourself to do it.
Yeah, it's definitely like, I can relate on the fact that like there are days that I'm like, do I really want to stream or do I want to watch Netflix and see like what the latest stuff is on there? I'm glad when I do it, even if it's not like a long stream. Like I had one Sunday evening, I was having a horrible weekend just with different things. And I get on and all of a sudden within minutes, people start pouring in. I'm like, holy, I did not even think you were all going to be here. I thought it was just going to be a nice chill stream, and they made me start crying. Good tears, but it was one of those, they redeemed the whole weekend just by doing it.
Yeah. No, like, even today, like I was just about to click start streaming, and then I got a call from Dave, who's at work, saying like, the plumber's at the door. I'm like, what plumber? He's like, oh, there's a plumber coming to check the boiler because the shower at the moment's not working. Well, it is, but there's no hot water because it was installed by a cowboy. But I did was like, oh, there's a guy, and I was like, oh, for God's sake. So I went down and sorted it. This guy was there for like 45 minutes. And I'm like, well, it's probably like only like under 4 hours if I start streaming now. You know, I could just chill and then get ready for the podcast. But you know what? I like streaming. I'm going to click start streaming. And I had an amazing afternoon. Really, really loved every second of it. And then coming on to here. So it's, it put me in podcast streaming puts me in a good mood. So even if I'm feeling a bit bad or in a bit of a bad mood, I will start streaming and it pretty much instantly puts me in a good mood.
And I'm glad you did, because you put me into a good mood. I watched the stream before here, and it got me into a really good headspace.
Oh.
So I'm glad you streamed today.
Thank you. I like having like a chill stream. That's one thing I've kind of discovered, because I don't know if you're the same. Well, you've kind of got yourself. You've got your podcast and you do WoW and stuff. It took me years and years to kind of find. It sounds really kind of cliche, but find who I am as a streamer, and like to find a place for me as a streamer, and Animal Crossing is it. It might have taken me until March, like over 3 years to kind of find a game that I'm happy to have as my main game, with the odd, like when a new game comes out, I might do it, like for example Flight Simulator. I went and played on that on release day. Next Tuesday I'm going to play a game called No Straight Roads, which is coming out on release day, and I'll be giving away a copy of it as well, so that'll be fun on Tuesday. But stuff like that, and people, I was quite surprised like how many people pop in, and even though I'm not playing Animal Crossing, but going back to Animal Crossing and just chilling and having kind of the familiarity and a very relaxed stream is something that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah, I definitely like WoW's my main game, but I have started doing like Mondays is my variety night, that I'm going to do something different that night. And
what did you play this Monday?
The Ambassador, and then I'm playing another thing of Ooblets next Monday. And then the following Monday, I'm going to be playing Bendy and the Ink Machine, because that game looks scary but fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
scary games. Oh dear.
And I find like some of the ones that are not WoW, I have lower view counts, but I'm still doing it because I like it, and it's nice for my own sanity to get something a little different than what I typically play. Yeah.
Oh no, like definitely. I think sometimes you can definitely get addicted to view count. Like when I'm not playing Animal Crossing, the view count goes down. It's a fact. Like for example, when The Last of Us 2 came out, I streamed it continuously for 3 days, I think it was, until I finished it. The view count was lower. It was still very, very, I couldn't believe how many people actually did tune in. But the people that were there were like from the very beginning until the end. And at the end of it, where there were so many people that were talking about it and being like, oh, I've been here for the whole thing and I love it. I'm really glad that you streamed this so that we can, and like a lot of people saying they could never play this kind of game because it was really scary. It had a really cool story, so they were glad that they were able to kind of watch it and enjoy it. And I absolutely loved that. And I think The Last of Us 2 was a great one because it was about 21 hours, I think. And like when a really, really big game comes out in future, I think I might do this again, where I just have like 2 or 3 days where we just bomb through it and experience the story as a whole. I would quite like to do that with Cyberpunk, but I don't know if that game's going to be a lot longer than 21 hours. So maybe I won't with that one. I kind of wish with Final Fantasy VII Remake that I'd gone through it, but I think that game came out at the same time as Animal Crossing. And when I was seeing that I was playing Animal Crossing and the average view count was going up, I'm like, I'm not changing. I'm not going away from the formula. This is working at the moment. So I just stuck with that. But yeah, now I'm really, really blessed that I got the offered partnership with Twitch, and now I can kind of, if I play a game one day that I know is going to have hardly anybody watching, but I'm going to really enjoy it, I'm not losing any kind of goal that to apply for something.
I've not really looked for myself at the partner goal because I'm like, it would be great for that. Like I saw a tweet from somebody today that they want it mainly for the emotes.
Oh, that's the only reason. Yeah, that was the only reason that I wanted. I even said it way before I was even with the chance. I was like, it'd be cool to be partner because you get the emotes. And the guy working on my emotes actually sent me like 2 or 3 that is almost done. So I've got like 21 arriving very soon, and I can't wait.
Nice.
Yeah. Rachel's like when the game's less appealing, the great community is a reason. But like, yeah, and that's with The Last of Us 2. That's what pretty much happened, is that we were a really close group of people that were all watching it and commenting on it, and because the game was brand new, nobody in the chat knew what was going to happen. I also put I put no alerts on. If you were following, you had been following for something like, at the start it was 24 hours, but I pushed it down to like 1 hour. So yeah, you could follow, but you couldn't talk for an hour because there were so many people desperate to put spoilers in.
Oh yeah.
But luckily I avoided 100% avoided every single spoiler in The Last of Us 2.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It worked. And I had a really, really good time.
And I had a great time tonight with you on FrazlCast, and I'm going to thank you for joining me. Time flies.
It really does. I can't believe it's been over an hour.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just been a nice conversation. We've had people watching and people in the future who will listen, but I think I got to know you better.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was an honor to be asked on the legendary. How many episodes is this? 173.
173. Yeah,
that's way more than Click Click Play ever did. We did like 100.
And we're not stopping. And in fact, episode 200 is a roast. I've got a few friends coming back who are going to roast me. So
ooh, that sounds good. I'll be definitely tuning into that one.
Every 50 episodes, I like to do something fun, but also try to find some way to like improve the show in a way. Like 150, I got a new mic, so it was.
Oh, no, yeah, I think we've got the same mic actually. Is it the Shure SM7B?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Same.
I know some people say that some of the lesser mics sound just as good, but I love the dulcet tones.
You know, this
SM7B.
microphone is the same microphone that Michael Jackson recorded Thriller with.
Oh, absolutely.
So there you go.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, in the chat, Moni says that Last of Us 2 was great. And Moni was one of the people that was there. She was a temporary mod for the entire time, and she's now my permanent mod as of today. So
nice.
Congratulations, Moni. But she was wonderful during it. But like, yeah, she was one of the people that was there from the very start to the very end and kind of experienced the story with us, which was really, really, really good.
Any production that has Moni in chat and also Laura Bailey doing voiceovers is supreme.
Perfect. Yeah.
So where can people find you on the interwebs?
I am on twitch.tv/BiggusBennus. On Twitter, I'm BiggusBennus1 because some arsehole registered BiggusBennus many years ago. Hasn't logged on or hasn't been on since or tweeted or even followed anybody since 2010. But apparently I can't get that account. So I'm not bitter about it at all though, you know. So yeah. BiggusBennus1 on there. But yeah, Thomas, if you type BiggusBennus into whatever, it'll surely pop up. Yeah, I've usually got a yellow background behind me.
And I've been enjoying following you on Instagram too.
Oh, thanks. Every day I like to put a weird going live story on there.
Yeah, absolutely. I find Instagram it's fun to like put things that are like a snapshot of like your life and stuff like that. Like I've been sharing my journey on there too, and it'll be fun to be like I've seen myself change. Yeah,
I've been quite bad actually with posting stuff on Instagram, but like as of tomorrow Dave's getting a car, and it's the first time that either of us have had a car in about 10 years. So
wow,
it's going to be nice to get a bit of freedom to go out and like Sundays, because I don't stream on Sundays. That's going to be the day where we just go out and explore. For example, do you know Downton Abbey, the TV program? We're going to be visiting Downton Abbey in a few weeks. So there'll be lots of pictures of that. And
oh, that's awesome.
I'm going to finally use Instagram a bit more, I think.
Nice.
I can't wait for that. Yeah.
And then soon we'll have like Instagram Live and be like, sorry, Twitch, I'm now an Instagram influencer.
Oh God, yeah. No, I couldn't. I'm not pretty enough for that, unfortunately.
Activating customized Orphan transporter.
Well, I am back in of Ironforge until we one day reclaim Numergon.
I'm a gnome.
Let's look at what has been happening in the community.
Awesome. Let's do that. So runs for the Uncrypted Voidwing are happening right now. Follow @FriendshipMount on Twitter to find out when these runs happen. And you can get your ALTC before the Uncrypted Voidwing takes flight with the Shadowlands pre-patch. Each group is raising money for a different charity. Perky Pugs is continuing to raise money for Rain this month. They've raised over 11,900 so far. Our good friend and fellow warrior Desmophisto is doing weekly weekend ALTC carries, Board on Saturdays and Alliance on Sundays. Starting at 3 p.m. Pacific until the Shadowlands releases, he is raising money this month for ASAN and has already raised over $1,300. Over in Classic, people are doing a One Life Hardcore mode challenge, and Icy Veins reports that Kargas has joined the Hall of Legends of reaching level 60. Speaking of Classic, WoW reports of a new tool called Soft Reserve. This will help with reserving loot allocations and raids. From what they describe, it sounds like it's mainly for pugs to show group members joining what is reserved, but they said that it can be used by fully pre-planned raid teams as well. Over in the art spotlight, Icy Veins shows us an amazing wallpaper by Redditor Consequence that shows all of the areas in the Shadowlands. And speaking of the Shadowlands, Blizzard has clarified that beta access is now being given out. MMO Champion links to their blue post, which reads, "It is now possible for you to obtain access to the Shadowlands beta via limited use keys," which is in quotes, by the way. "We are providing some community content creators with the ability to reward access to the Shadowlands beta. These beta access rewards are not for sale or resale. Offers of Shadowlands beta access for sale or auction are false and should be reported to the entity where they were listed." I wanted to mention this to you to help you prevent getting scammed on getting beta access. We talked about Carbot's Diablos 2 a few episodes back. Well, Icy Veins reports that episode 2 to 4 are now out. And lastly, I want to mention the community XP Off. It's a World of Warcraft twink community. If you aren't familiar with what a twink is in WoW, the definition from WoW Gamepedia is twinks are player characters below the level cap who have gained the best powerful gear for their level with enhancements such as expensive weapon enchants, like patches, and BOE and BOP greens, blues, or epics. Twinks are mainly used in PvP fighting and battlegrounds. I don't play twinks right now in WoW, but I wanted to let you know about XP Off if you're looking for a new community to join.
This has been another awesome episode of FrazlCast. Take it away, Frazzle Pants.
Thank you, Scruffy. While I'm still making a push to 100 subscribers on YouTube, the community has raised enough money to unlock a pizza party. I'll be doing this hopefully this week. I'm looking at possibly Wild Mushroom based off Savvy's recommendation. If not, it'll be Domino's or Donato's. And over on Twitch, thank you to Cap and Austin for the gifted subs this week. And thank you to my Twitch subs out there. Thank you to Allie of Dungeon Fables and All Things Azeroth, Amanda of Geek Caring, Austin of Frank's Hot Sauce Guild, BiggusBennus, Bodconian, Burkhart, Cap, Cardfreck, Cosmic Valkyrie, Crunk, Sai of Scrubs vs. the World, Dave DeHunter, Demi of Third Faction Show, Dennis, Elucid91, Epic and Sandy of Frozen Nerds, Gamers Illogical, Gia Miabia, Alionics, Harlow, Audie Chicken, Her, Jaded Sixella, Jay, Jen Eric Live, Jess, Jetta Faye, John 156, Carenza, Kawasaki, Lance Blizz Gamer, Leo Wild, Lil Weird, Lomo Geek, Lucas Grandma, Lucas of Cardiac Valley, Mal, Marty of Two Nerds Maybe More, Michael of Two Nerds Maybe More and All Hollow Scream, Monica of Geek Caring, Nanagami, Nemovich, Handagosa, Pete of Stories on Azeroth, Phoenix Duet, Professor Awkward, Rig of Charactercraft, Sassy Snorlax, Scissorlord, Sil of Whispers of War, Baz Wesson, Calvedos, Taro, Helleroyd, Dex Scoob, Tom Turtle, Titolar, Trashella, Uncle Will 6, Valmar 83, Alicia, Werewolf Hours, Zorts the Goblin, and Sidewinder. And thank you to Lucas Grandma and Savvy the Nerd for the bits this week. If you want to support the show financially, please go to support.gnomepodcast.com. If you have Prime Gaming, you can use your free Prime subscription on my channel and get access to ad-free viewing and awesome emotes. And all of your support goes to helping support this labor of love. Thank you so much. Well, I'm Frazley, and you can find the show at gnomepodcast.com. There you can catch past episodes and find out many of the places where you can subscribe to this show to get the Gnome Train coming to you every single week. Well, until next week, be awesome.
FrazlCast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. Views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard Games, and they are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended. This show is for the community, and it contains contributions from the community. The Gnome Train intro is by Allie of Dungeon Fables and All Things Azeroth. The opening music is by Brandon T. Blaylock. The Gnome Roar is by Jen of Morally Grey Podcast. And the Frazzle Pants bumper at the end is by the Scruffy Druid of Loot Optional and Viral Voice Arts.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.
It's been fun. Farewell!